Welcome to letteringworld.com. Hi, I'm Kevin, and here's a list of supplies you'll need to create this stab stitch book. You can also stop the video to write down the supplies you will need. You will also need 2 pieces of cover weight stock for the cover and back cover, and a stack of about 25 pages of text weight stock for the inside pages. And you can get all these bookbinding supplies online, and 2 good places to get them are dickblick.com and johnneilbooks.com. So begin by taking the covers and the inside pages and cut them down the same size. This is a hand lettering letterpress design that I did that I'll use for the covers. So cut them down by hand or use a guillotine paper cutter if you have access to one to get all the pages the exact same size. Then take the stack and square up all the stock. So attach clips to hold the stock together for binding. Use little pieces of the 3x5 paper to protect the cover and back cover from getting scratched or dented from the clips. The clips shown here work really well, and 2 clips on each edge can be used if preferred. And FYI that this book has 32 inside pages and is 6 1/4 by 3.5 inches. Next, determine how many stitching holes you want in your binding area. This book has 4 holes. You can use a ruler and a spring divider to measure out the distance and location of the holes. Start by determining the distance from the spine edge and mark it lightly in pencil. The thread will cover this up. Next, measure the same distance from the top and bottom edges to help determine the outside 2 hole locations by the intersection of the spine and the top and bottom edge marks. Mine is 3/8 of an inch from the edge. You can measure the 2 inside holes with a ruler and mark them in pencil. Then you can lightly use the spring dividers to make sure the distances are equal. Once you've determined the location of all the holes, you can use the spring dividers to press in and start the binding holes. Now take the awl and begin to push it through the stack to begin to make the binding holes. Push it all the way through till you see it come out the back side. Then take the awl and push it through from the back side until you see it come out the front. Working it around will help the needle go through easier. Also, make sure the pressure point is just off the edge of the work surface. A piece of wood was used here to raise it off the table and to not damage the table, and also keep the book flat while applying pressure to make sure the holes are straight down and not at an angle. So just continue to push the awl through the other remaining holes from the front and then the back, working the awl back and forth to help the needle go through much easier. Once you've completed making all the holes, use a bone folder to push back in any paper buildup around the holes on the cover and back cover before binding. Also wanted to mention that the thicker the book, the more challenging it will be to get the needle and awl through the stack. Now we are ready to start stitching. Take 30 inches of bookbinding thread. It's always better to have more than enough to not be short at the end. Take a bone folder to flatten the edge of the thread to make it easier to feed into the eyelet of the bookbinding needle. Pull it through and fold over about 4 inches of thread. The wax thread will help keep it in place while binding. Then take the other end of the cord and tie a knot at the end of the thread. This will be used to start the bookbinding process. Next, carefully open the spine of the book about in the middle. Push the needle through one of the inside holes so the needle comes out the back, stopping when the knot stops at the hole. Push the remaining tail into the book and apply pressure over the hole to flatten the knot a bit. Now go around the spine and back into the same hole to create the first stitch. If you have problems getting the needle through the hole, pull back the needle and push an awl through it again on both sides to open up the hole a bit more. Carefully use pliers and pull straight out to avoid breaking the binding needle. Pull it so the cord is tight and check to make sure the binding is straight before moving to the next hole. Next, move down to the next hole and push the needle through to the other side. Again, you'll probably need to often use pliers to help pull the needle through the hole. Then wrap it around the spine and go back through the same hole again. Once it's through the hole, give the cord a tug and make sure the loop is tight and straight. Then you are ready to go to the next stitch. So push the needle through the bottom hole again, and then wrap the cord around the spine and tighten and straighten the stitch loop. Then go back through the bottom hole one more time. Now wrap the cord around the bottom edge of the book and come back through the bottom hole to come out the back of the book. Make sure the loop is tight and straight. Then flip the book over and proceed up the spine to the next hole and put the needle through the second hole up. When using pliers, remember to grab the book with your other hand close to the hole to not bend or crease the book. Once the needle goes through, again, loop the cord around the spine. Then proceed to go through the third hole, then wrap it around the spine and back through the hole. Now you'll notice that there will be open stitch spaces on the front and the back of the book. Those will be the last loops when you come back down the spine, so don't think you've missed stitches. Also, having a long cord will often get caught up on the clips or the edge of the book, so always pull carefully as stitches are looped. Once you've gone through the third hole again, go up to the fourth top hole. Push the needle through and wrap the cord around the spine, checking to make the stitch straight and tight. Then go through the hole again and wrap the cord around the top edge of the book. After going through the same hole, sometimes it's a challenge putting the needle through. More than likely, pliers will be needed to pull the needle through. Always remember to pull it straight to not break the needle. So you'll see that this will be the last stitch on the back of the book. Once you pulled the cord through and completed the last stitch on the back of the book, flip the book over. Now, this will be your last stitch on the front and will also be a little different and a little more challenging. So push the needle in at an angle so the needle comes out about in the middle of the spine. You can use an awl first to open the path to make the needle go through a little easier. When the needle goes through, try to have it come out in the middle of the stack and angled away from the cord that's wrapped around the spine. Once the cord is through, take scissors and just past the edge of the spine, cut the cord, and then use the needle to carefully push it back inside the spine to hide it. You can apply pressure to that area to flatten out the cord inside. The wax thread will help keep it in place. Then carefully take the bone folder and flatten out any imperfections around the holes or the cord. Also check the front and back and straighten any stitches that need it. Then you can carefully take off the clips, and your book is complete and ready for use.